Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. In this episode, we continue to discuss EA Sports FC Tactical, FCT. The most important part in a football game are the players. So, what roles do the various attributes of players in FCT play? What makes a good player? How can you build a player to maximize their potential? Let's dive into today's video with these questions in mind. Firstly, a reminder for everyone. The game is currently in its beta testing phase, so many aspects might change in the future. The content of this video is based on the current version of the game, and the official release will be the primary reference. The player classification in FCT is slightly different from other games, including Captain Tsubasa with its N, R, SR, SSR rarity levels. Players in FCT are divided into 3 levels. 1-star players with a blue background frame. 2-star players with a purple background frame. 3-star players with a gold background frame. 1-star players have a maximum level of 40 with the lowest initial abilities. Their special moves and traits can reach up to level B. Apart from some 1-star league matches, they currently have no other use in the game, and it's expected to remain that way. 2-star players have a maximum level of 50 with average initial abilities. Their special moves and traits can reach up to level A. They can be used in 2-star league matches. In the early stages of the game, they can provide 3-star players with A-level special moves and traits, which is crucial. They act as a skill/trait library. Once you reach the later stages of the game with all S-level skills/traits, these A-level ones become obsolete. 3-star players have a maximum level of 60 with the strongest initial abilities. Their special moves and traits can reach up to level S, and some limited players can even have SS-level skills. 3-star players are the core content of the game, so this video will focus on them. Each level of players has many other differences, but they're not crucial, so we won't delve into them. Based on Captain Tsubasa experience, the game's 1-star and 2-star players might not be updated in real time. The game's updates will mainly revolve around 3-star cards, but FCT might differ. Player details are divided into 3 pages: data page, skills and traits page, and information page. Here's the first page, the data page. The top left shows the player's position, divided into primary and secondary positions. Some players don't have secondary positions. The primary position is highlighted in green on the mini field, while the secondary position is highlighted in white. It's essential to note that FCT's position settings are very different from Captain Tsubasa. Captain Tsubasa only divides into 5 positions: FW, OMF, DMF, DF, DK. In contrast, FCT divides into 6 positions based on front and back, adding an ST position, and distinguishes between left, center, and right. This naturally brings more restrictions to team formation, which takes some time to adapt. When placing players on the field, dragging a player will display their primary and secondary positions, highlighted in green or white. When a player is placed in their primary position, they receive an additional 10% stamina boost, allowing them to use more special moves. Although placing them in their secondary position doesn't grant the 10% stamina boost, their other abilities remain the same, with no issues. Many popular positions, such as CF and CB, have many players competing for them, preventing good players from playing simultaneously. In such cases, if some players have secondary positions that avoid popular ones, their performance potential will significantly increase. When a player is placed in neither their primary nor secondary position, they suffer a 30% overall ability decay. In the early stages of the game, the resources are not enough while a 3-star card reaches LV 60 and doesn't have a suitable position. If a 3-star card reaches LV 60 and doesn't have a suitable position, they can replace some unupgraded 1-star or 2-star players. It's not recommended to waste resources on 1-star or 2-star cards in the early stages. However, once the formation is set and the entire team consists of 3-star LV 60 players, this situation must be avoided. Another point to note is that some formations on the field don't have certain players' primary or secondary positions. In such cases, no matter where they're placed, they'll suffer a 30% ability decay. At this point, you need to arrange your formation based on your players, allowing more of the strongest players to play. The formation, coach, tactics, etc. are unique to FCT, which we'll discuss in detail in later videos. Let's look at the next, high and low ball preference. This basic design is the same as Captain Tsubasa Dream Team. When you receive the ball inside the penalty area, you will enter a dual screen, and you will randomly receive a high or low ball. Each player has a fixed preference for high or low balls and gets an additional bonus. However, there are a few points to note. In my tests, I found that almost 100% of the time, when you touch the ball inside the penalty area, you will receive a high ball. Only when you receive a pass from someone else or bounce off a wall might you get a high ball. It's not entirely random. I'm not sure if this was intentionally designed by the game and whether it will be adjusted in the future. In Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, most players are average. However, in FCT, a large number of players are good/very good, especially for low balls. Almost the vast majority of shooters are very good at low balls. In Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, the bonus for high and low balls is fixed at 12.5% for good and 25% for very good. However, in FCT, based on my extensive tests, although the bonus for a specific player is fixed, different players have different bonus percentages. Testing is very time-consuming, but the current conclusion is the bonus for good is roughly between 0% and 10%, and for very good, it's between 10% and 15%. I will provide more detailed information when I have more data in the future. In Captain Tsubasa, the preference for high and low balls is almost entirely related to the character. I expect the same for FCT, but I don't have data to support this yet. This is just for reference. Let's move on to the next item, the classification. There are two types of classifications. Starting with classification 2, it's basically all the basic information about the player. This information doesn't affect the player's abilities but can help filter and quickly select players. In the future, some bonuses might be determined based on this information, such as bonuses for Norwegian players or Premier League players. Since it's the early stages of the game, there aren't many points to focus on right now. Then there's classification 1, which is super important. Basically, each player's ability ceiling and purpose are determined here. Captain Tsubasa has a similar classification for its SSR cards, free chest, event chest, regular cards, various limited series cards, dream selection, and dream celebration. The card's classification determines its value, and the same goes for FCT. Classification 1 currently has 4 types: regular, season, premium, and icon. If it's a season or premium classification, there will be an additional label indicating the specific card pool/event, such as UCL or TOTS. This is purely informational and not essential. What's important is the classification mentioned earlier. The current card strength ranking is premium equals icon season regular. The strength gap between different classifications is vast and is reflected in many aspects, which we'll explain in detail when we get to the relevant sections. This displays Erling Haaland's regular card version. Currently, in the game's progression, Haaland has 3 versions, and more will be added in the future. Haaland is currently positioned as a strong dribbler and shooter. From the base values, we can see that there's a slight difference between regular and premium. This displays a season classification card. Its base value is like the regular card. Lastly, we'll display the icon legendary card. Its base value is on par with premium, slightly higher than regular and season cards. On the right are the player's basic ability data, which is the same as Captain Tsubasa, divided into 3 offensive rock, paper, scissors, shoot, dribble, and pass, and 3 defensive rock, paper, scissors, block, tackle, and intercept. There are 3 types of stamina: strength, speed, and skill, with speed being the most important. It not only affects the entry ability but also the player's movement speed. Stamina is used when deploying skills. Currently, it's generally between 1100 to 1300, but after the 6th anniversary of Captain Tsubasa, it inflated to nearly 1500, but that's a story for another time. One crucial point to emphasize here is that stamina's contribution to offense and defense in FCT is different from Captain Tsubasa. In Captain Tsubasa, strength contributes 50% to entry, shooting, and blocking, speed contributes 50% to dribbling and tackling, and skill contributes 50% to passing and intercepting. However, FCT's formula is entirely different. Here are the results of my tests. Matchup stats. Entry shooting gets a 25% boost from strength, 10% from speed, and 15% from skill. Entry dribbling gets a 10% boost from strength, 25% from speed, and 15% from skill. Entry passing gets a 10% boost from strength, 15% from speed, and 25% from skill. Entry blocking gets a 25% boost from strength, 10% from speed, and 15% from skill. Entry tackling gets a 15% boost from strength, 25% from speed, and 10% from skill. Entry intercepting gets a 10% boost from strength, 15% from speed, and 25% from skill. Note, strength's contribution to offense is only 95%, while skill's contribution to offense is 105%. I'm not sure if this was intentionally designed by the game. Goalkeepers have different basic data from other players, without offensive and defensive rock, paper, scissors, but with shooting and catching instead. Stamina's contribution to shooting and catching is the same as in Captain Tsubasa. Entry shooting gets a 25% boost from strength and 25% from speed, while entry catching gets a 25% boost from strength and 25% from skill. Strength is more important for goalkeepers than the other two attributes. However, for the ultimate saving ability in duels, strength is as important as the others. Finally, let's look at the top row, representing the player's training level. Yellow indicates that the training level for that item is full. The level on the far left is the most basic training level. In the early stages of the game, when resources are limited, you might get stuck at level 60, but once the initial formation is set, you can easily reach level 60 through resource accumulation. A player's level 1 data is 45% of their level 60 data, so if you see level 1 data, you can reverse engineer it. Looking at the points and coins needed to level up from 1 to 60, it's approximately 130k/270k. The screen after reaching the maximum level. Congratulations, the journey to building your player has just begun. The next two items are where the gap between players is widened, which is the evolution level and the simultaneously obtained enhancement points. Remember the class classification 1 mentioned earlier? This card is premium, and each evolution point gives 4 enhancement points, with a maximum of 4 evolution stages and 16 enhancement points. Premium and icon class cards, which are on the same level, both get 4 points of enhancement for each evolution stage, totaling 16 points. The next level, the season classification, gets only 3 breakthrough points for each evolution stage, totaling 12 points. While regular cards get only 2 breakthrough points for each evolution stage, totaling 8 points. This is one of the essential factors that widen the gap between different classification cards. Evolution stages, as an essential channel to raise a player's ability ceiling, are naturally challenging to obtain. One way is through recruiting players. When you recruit the 2nd to 5th player of the same name, it will automatically evolve the player. Here, it's essential to clarify a concept. Unlike the basic data structure of Captain Tsubasa, the most basic unit in FCT doesn't have the concept of a card. When you draw a player, you unlock that player in your account, and they will never disappear. Therefore, the second one you draw automatically becomes the evolution material for the first one. You don't have to worry about the player's skills during automatic evolution. Secondary skills will be directly given to you. Since primary skills cannot become free skills, they will be directly upgraded. This concept will be explained in detail when we discuss skills later. Another universal prop that can be used to evolve players is these crystals. Crystals have different classifications and can be fed to players of the same classification. The Holland in the video is premium UCL, so in addition to being evolved by the universal rainbow crystal, it can also be evolved by the exclusive rainbow. As you can see, crystals are super useful items in the game and are naturally very rare and hard to obtain, such as season tasks, recruitment fragments, etc. We'll discuss this in detail when we talk about the game's economic system later. The screen during the 4th evolution stage. After the 4th evolution stage, when you draw the same player again, in addition to getting secondary skills, you will also get additional recruitment fragments. The premium player in the video gets 200 fragments, the icon legendary player gets 700 fragments, and other levels will get much less. Recruitment fragments are essential resources in the game and can be used to exchange various props, including the previously mentioned evolution crystals. Idle enhancement points can be used on the player training page to enhance abilities, with each ability being enhanced up to 5 points. The first point gives 300 abilities. The second point gives 250, totaling 550 abilities. The third point gives 200, totaling 750 abilities. The fourth point gives 150, totaling 900 abilities. The fifth point gives 100, totaling 1000 abilities. After adding 5 points to one ability, you can continue to add to other abilities. Due to the different role of stamina compared to Captain Tsubasa, referred to as Zhu Xiao in the text, which I've mentioned before, match-up stats upon entering the field receive varying degrees of bonuses from all types of stamina. Therefore, how to allocate enhancement points is a topic of discussion, which I won't delve into in this video but will discuss in future ones. Of course, if you're not satisfied with the current allocation of enhancement points, you can spend 100 tactical points, TP, to reset and reallocate them. TP is equivalent to the Dream Ball in Captain Tsubasa, with 100 TP being roughly equivalent to 5 Dream Balls. I'll analyze this in detail when discussing the game's economic system later. That covers the content on the first page. Let's click on Skills to move to the next page. On the left are traits, which, when compared to Captain Tsubasa, are equivalent to passives and potentials. On the right is skill, like Captain Tsubasa, but the overall design is quite different from Captain Tsubasa. Here, the focus is mainly on FCT's design. Both traits and skills are divided into primary and secondary categories. Each player's primary trait/skill cannot be changed. It cannot be replaced or removed. It is what it is. Secondary traits/skills can be freely changed, replaced, or removed. Note that secondary traits can be stacked with identical traits. For example, Holland here has 2 shooting master traits, and it's entirely possible to equip him with 3 of the same traits. This Holland card is of the premium category, possessing 2 primary traits plus 3 secondary trait slots, and 2 primary skills plus 4 secondary skill slots. Moreover, primary skills can be of SS rank, which is the ultimate pursuit in the current game, the top tier. We'll discuss this later. In every premium player pool, there's typically only 1 card with an SS skill, making it extremely rare. Icon legendary players have the same categorization as premium players, with 2 primary traits plus 3 secondary trait slots, and 2 primary skills plus 4 secondary skill slots. Similarly, primary skills can also be of SS rank, making them super rare. Season category players are significantly inferior, coming with 1 primary trait plus 2 secondary trait slots, and 2 primary skills plus 3 secondary skill slots. Additionally, the sole primary trait currently doesn't have an S-rank trait, at most A rank. Then there are regular category players who don't have primary traits/skills but have 3 secondary traits/skill slots each. However, secondary traits can be of S rank, and secondary skills can also be of S rank. Thus, the value of regular players lies in these S traits/skills, as they can be freely removed, while for other player types, S traits/skills are locked in. Regular players can be used, but with a maximum of 3 skills, their capabilities are greatly limited, often making it hard to balance offense and defense. Let's look at trait enhancement content. To train a new secondary trait, you only need to spend coins. To replace an existing trait, you need to pay an additional removal fee of 60 TA, roughly equivalent to 3 Dream Balls. Note that the replaced trait won't disappear but will go into your inventory, available for others to use. Of course, you can directly use trait tools to learn, or you can learn from other players' equipped secondary traits. If the new trait you're training is a secondary trait already used by another player, you'll also need to pay an additional trait removal fee of 60 TA. If you're replacing your own secondary trait at the same time, you'll need to pay a total of 120 TA. To upgrade trait levels, you can consume identical traits or use trait growth tools. S traits require S-level tools. Trait growth tools, like players, are categorized, and only those of the same category can be used for upgrades. A-level traits require A-level trait growth tools or identical traits for leveling up. De Bruyn's second primary trait is of a generic type, not exclusive to premium. So, you can have the same A-level trait in both primary and secondary trait slots. Different levels of traits naturally offer different bonuses. Let's compare a few of the same. S-level midfield king boosts abilities by 4%. A-level boosts abilities by 2.8%. If it's a season-exclusive A trait, it boosts abilities by 3.6%, which is significantly higher than the regular A trait's 2.8%. Of course, season-exclusive traits are always in the primary slot and can't be used for builds. B-level traits only boost abilities by 1.6%. For example, this premium exclusive midfield hub can boost abilities by up to 4.8%, which is 0.8% more than the generic S level. This icon exclusive trait even boosts abilities by 6%. There are different types of traits, which can be filtered in the game. This video won't go into detail. In future videos, I'll introduce all types of passive pros and cons, how to configure them, etc. Now, let's talk about skills. In essence, the overall build and training mode, design, and traits are identical for skills. All skill levels range from 1 to 10, with each level boosting by 4 points, totaling 36 points. Here, I'll show the maximum power of different skill levels. It's evident that the SS skill's 260 power is far ahead. Some SS skills even have SP effects, as shown in the skill of the icon legend Ronaldinho. SS skills require S+ skill growth tools for upgrades, and these tools are quite rare. S-level skill upgrade tools, being premium skills, can only use these two tools, as there are almost no identical S skills. Upgrading generic skills is easier, as shown with this skill. Primary skills can't be removed, only upgraded. Primary S skills, being of the premium category, are better than generic S skills. The image also shows that premium A skills are superior. When replacing skills, if the material is a skill from another player, you need to pay a removal fee twice, totaling 120 TP. Different skills have different powers, but the power difference between skills of the same level isn't significant. Having them is more important. That's a brief overview of the traits and skills on the second page. For a more detailed discussion of all traits and skill combination strategies, we'll delve deeper in future videos. There's still the last page to cover. The last page, Details, contains player-related data, which doesn't directly relate to player strength, so I won't elaborate on it. In conclusion, the core of the game revolves around collecting and building 3-star cards. Among 3-star cards, Premium and Icon Legends are the strongest. Whether in terms of ability data, maximum breakthrough points, trait and skill slot numbers, levels, power, etc., they comprehensively outclass other 3-star cards. Especially those with SS skills are your ultimate goal. However, these cards come with extremely high training costs and might not show significant advantages in the early stages of the game. Season cards are the next best option, weaker than Premium and Icon but much stronger than regular. Season cards have more acquisition methods and are easier to train, making them good choices for filling gaps. Regular cards serve as repositories for S traits and skills, meant to be fed to stronger cards. But if your team lacks enough Premium, Icon, or even Season cards, then regular cards can be used for various activities. However, for top-tier PvP in the game, they're far from sufficient. Based on experience from Captain Tsubasa, you should focus your TA resources on Premium and Icon cards, avoiding investing in Season and especially regular cards unless you're severely lacking in a particular position or need specific traits/skills. Over time, you'll gradually acquire regular cards.